got that song.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Episode 1025. Hello, it's Mike Matthews broadcasting from Cafe Anyway, located somewhere in Podcastro Valley, Mont, at the last place on Earth. Today, it's a Bandsmutation, where we're going to talk about Jefferson Airplane and all its many incarnations, and the recently departed members, Paul Kantner, who passed away, and also the founding member,
Mike's Daily Podcast.
One of the founding members, SIGNE TOLY ANDERSON. And we hear from Chely Shoehart, Floyd the Floorman, John Deere the engineer,
Mike's Daily Podcast,
and Addendum with Kevin, and the HAYLEY Moments of the Week. Today's show is chock a block full of audio hilarity. I found that when I listen to podcasts, there's a disparity of getting useful information, and it's a rarity to hear something that lights up the interior of your brain cavity. This show will thrill you and amuse you.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
And at some point, we'll probably even lose you, which we probably already have.
Mike's
In other words,
Daily
this podcast is life.
Yeah!
It's what you make it. Or I guess it's what I make it. Wow, I made a mess. Looks like we had a lot of fun. Or we're going to have fun. And look at this walk in. Hello, Mike Matthews. It's Chely Shoehart, Sheriff Supervisor. Oh my gosh, I can't believe there's so much going on. And the weekend is here and it's Friday. Yes. Look who else just walked in. Oh, Mike, it's Floyd the Floorman. And this is John Deere, the engineer. I want Hillary to win. And I want Bernie to win. I hope you guys worked that out. Okay, now we look at the HAYLEY Moments of the Week. Usually this is just the HAYLEY Moment of the Week, but there's been so many moments. Let's get to it now. All the fun times we had with HAYLEY this week.
The HAYLEY Moments of the Week.
And so then he goes and he makes a video explaining the situation because YouTubers' lives have to be completely public in every single way because they have no concept of PR and they have no concept of damage control, as I said previously. And he plays the victim card on this because his wife left him. When all of this crazy situation is because he's a douche.
I believe something inside me said, I really don't think I'm strong enough now. I'm coming back someday. Come what may, to Blue Bayou. Ribbit. I figured out Ted Cruz's voice. You just gotta scream like at the frickin' top of your lungs. It's like that power trading radio guy. It's kind of like that guy.
Hi, I'm Ted Cruz.
Yeah, just a little tinge of Texas.
Bay Area listeners, vote now. I have to talk really high because I'm from Canada and that's a long ways from the Americas, so I have to yell. Some of the, like...
Yay! HAYLEY's Moments of the Week. And we also threw in some of HAYLEY's throat clearing on mic and HAYLEY's You know, you can hear all the past HAYLEY, daily HAYLEYs that we did this past week, all the past shows and all the podcast pictures, my past interviews. If you want to help us out through our Amazon link, all of that is at MIKEs-DAILY-PODCAST.com. If you're going to buy anything on Amazon, click on that link there at MIKES-DAILY-PODCAST.com. Buy whatever it is you were going to buy, and that helps us out. And there's also the PayPal if you want to become an Inglorious Mike's Daily Podcaster and help us out that way. And get a special greeting from all the Cafe Anyway characters, even the ones that are fighting over Hillary and Bernie. Yeah, Mike, we hate each other. Yes, we despise each other. Except for when we kiss and make out. Yes, we do that. Because I'm Floyd the Floorman. And I'm John Deere the engineer. All right, then.
Mike Matthews, you were going somewhere with what you were saying.
Where was I going with that? See, now I'm doing the, ribbit. Bandsmutations.
Mutations.
Well, this edition of Bandsmutations reminds me of an old joke. When someone says to you, well, and you go, oh, that's a deep subject. That's what this is. There's so much to this whole topic of Jefferson Airplane and what it turned into and the band's mutations involved. And I do this in honor of Paul Kantner, who recently passed away, and Signe Toly Anderson, who was also one of the founding members of Jefferson Airplane. So let's begin. Jefferson Airplane, San Francisco, the two are synonymous. 1965 was when it began. Yes, 50 years ago. Wow. Last year, and then we lost two of the greats from that band. Spencer Dryden formed the band with Signe back in that time period. The first band, well, let's go to 1962, where a 20-year-old Marty Balin recorded 2 singles for Challenge Records, neither of which were successful. He then joined a folk group called the Town Criers. That was from 63 to 64. And then he was inspired by the success of the Byrds and Simon and Garfunkel in merging folk with rock, and he formed a group in 1965 that would follow that lead. With a group of investors, he purchased a former pizza parlor on Fillmore Street in San Francisco, which he converted to a music club called the Matrix, and began searching for members for his group. Then he met folk musician Paul Kantner at another local club called the Drinking Gourd. Kantner, a native San Franciscan, had started out performing on the Bay Area folk circuit in the early 60s, alongside fellow folkies Jerry Garcia, David Crosby, and Janis Joplin. Paul Kantner had cited folk groups like the Kingston Trio as strong influences. He briefly moved to L.A. in 64 to work in a folk duo with the future Airplane Starship member David Freiberg, who subsequently joined Quicksilver Messenger Service. Then Balin and Kantner recruited other musicians to form the house band at the Matrix. After hearing female vocalist Signe Toly Anderson at the Drinking Gourd, Balin invited her to be the group's co-lead singer. Anderson sang with the band for a year and performed on their first album before departing in October 1966 after the birth of her first child. Then they recruited Paul Kantner, an old friend. He recruited blues guitarist Jorma Kaukonen. Originally from Washington, D.C., Kaukonen had moved to California in the early 60s and met Kantner's wife at Santa Clara University in 62. Kaukonen was invited to jam with the new band, and although initially reluctant to join, he was won over after playing his guitar through a tape delay device that was part of the sound system used by Ken Kesey for his acid test parties. Drummer Jerry Poliquin and his acoustic bassist Bob Harvey completed the original lineup. The origin of the group's name is disputed. Jefferson Airplane is slang for a used paper match splint to hold a marijuana joint that is too short to hold without burning the fingers, an improvised roach clip. A popular conjecture suggests this was the origin of the band's name. But band members Jorma Kaukonen had denied this and stated the name was invented by his friend Steve Talbot as a parody of blues names such as Blind Lemon Jefferson. The group made its first public appearance as Jefferson Airplane at the opening night of the Matrix on August 13th of 65 and expanded from its folk roots, drawing inspiration from the Beatles, the Lovin' Spoonfuls, the Byrds, and gradually developed a more pop-oriented electric sound. Jerry Poliquin departed. Singer-guitarist Skip Spence, who later founded Moby Grape, was invited to replace him. And then Bob Harvey was not up to par, so he was replaced by Jack Cassidy. Now, Jack Cassidy was an old friend of Kaukonen. They would later form Hot Tuna. Let's play a little bit of Hot Tuna. Oh, yeah. That was from the Civic Auditorium in San Francisco, April 5th of 1975. Now we're getting to the single. The first single for Jefferson Airplane was this song right here, according to Wikipedia. Let's play that. forgive me. I've been in radio a long time, and I remember the 80s. So, yeah, It's No Secret. Where was that part? I saw that. Oh, here we go. The group's first single was Marty Ballin's It's No Secret, a tune he co-wrote with Otis Redding in mind. Oh, he wrote it with Otis Redding in mind. It would have been cool if he co-wrote it with Otis Redding with the Sitting by the Dock of the Bay and all that. And San Francisco connection. The B-side was Running Around the World. Now, the song that led the band's first clash with RCA over the lyrics, "The nights I've spent with you have been fantastic trips." After the debut LP was completed in '66, Skip Spence quit the band and was eventually replaced by Spencer Dryden, who played his first show with the Airplane at the Berkeley Folk Festival. July 4th, 1966, Dryden had previously played with a Los Angeles group called The Ashes, who later became the Peanut Butter Conspiracy, and Signe Anderson had a baby. She gave birth to, well, let's move on to that. Oh, yeah, her daughter in '66. And in October, she announced her departure from the band. Her final gig with the Airplane took place at the Fillmore, October 5th of '66. The following night, her replacement, Grace Slick, made her first appearance. She was already known to the band. She had attended the Airplane's debut gig at the Matrix in '65. Her previous group, The Great Society, had often supported the Airplane in concert. And with Grace Slick, they had one of the biggest freaking hit songs of their career.
Don't you want somebody to love? Don't you need somebody to love? Wouldn't you love somebody to love? You better find somebody to love.
And, you know, they also did the White Rabbit tune as well. Now, they were on the Smothers Brothers Comedy Hour and performed that song and White Rabbit. It was videotaped in color and augmented by developments in video techniques. It was famous, this appearance on the Smothers Brothers Comedy Hour. It's been frequently rescreened and is notable for its pioneering use of the chroma key process to simulate the Airplane's psychedelic light show. Now, I'm going to zip on past a bunch of important things. They had decided to turn into Jefferson Starship, formed in the early 70s by several members of the former psychedelic rock group Jefferson Airplane. The band has undergone several major changes in personnel and genres throughout the years while retaining the same Starship name. And it was led by co-founder Paul Kantner. It more closely resembled its original mix of psychedelic and electric folk than the pop-driven tunes it was widely known for in the early to mid-'80s. It is not to be confused with Starship, which we'll get to in a moment. But during the transitional period of the early 70s, when Jefferson Airplane was in the process of disbanding, Paul Kantner recorded Blows Against the Empire. This was a concept album featuring an ad hoc group of musicians. And then they had this big, huge song that still gets played all the time. Miracles. If only you believe in miracles, so would I. From Red Octopus. Then they had some success later on. Oh my gosh, I forgot this song. Marty Ballin and Grace Slick singing together, harmonies, Paul Kantner with them. Oh, but then Marty Ballin went on solo for a little while. And this is it. Which features a love scene that's rather risque for the early 80s. Oh yeah, now we're in the 80s. And along comes the band Jefferson Starships. They recruited Mickey Thomas. Mickey Thomas joined the band. He had sung lead on Elvin Bishop's Fooled Around and Fell in Love. He joined the band when Marty Ballin left and Paul Kantner left. Oh my gosh, like I said, this is deep. There's so many things going on with this band. And with Mickey Thomas, they had this big hit in the beginning. If you watched Wet Hot Summer, they use this part all the time in the intro to the show on Netflix. Jane, yes, of course, Starship then would have a huge hit in 85 with this one. Yes, one of the most detested songs in pop music, but lots of people love it. I'm sure if Hayley were here, Hayley would go nuts over this song. I almost forgot the other big song Starship had. Got the big hair. Grace Slick singing with him on that. Grace Slick's hair probably even bigger. Grace Slick then left the band, and Mutt Lange, who had produced Def Leppard, The Cars, Heart, and had married Shania Twain. Well, he married her later on, and then they divorced and produced Shania Twain stuff. But Mutt Lange produced this Starship song that was their last big hit. Definitely hear the change in production from the early days, don't you? And the definite Mutt Lange style. I have neglected to mention the KBC band. Paul Kantner, when Marty Ballin and him left, they took Jack Cassidy along, when he wasn't touring with Hot Tuna, and they made the band the KBC band. I loved this album. It was so funny because I really didn't know that much about Airplane at the time when I got into this album. But I just found this video on YouTube of them performing in Daytona Beach, which is where my mom lives. And at the band shell at Daytona Beach, which my mom and I have gone to many times, it's this awesome little... It's not this big pretentious arena. It's this little concert space right on the beach in Daytona Beach. And this is them performing one of their songs that got probably the most airplay for them. It's Not You, It's Not Me. There are so many people I have missed in this story of Bandsmutations, but I don't have like all the time in the world or all the memory in the world to save on the server. So I have to just leave it at that, and we will revisit them again in the future and pick up all the pieces that I've missed. I love this thing that right on the beach there. Oh, what's awesome about Daytona Beach is you can just go swimming whenever you want, whatever time of year, because it is so warm, the water. I talked to my mom, she said right now the water's in the 70s. And that's Jefferson Airplane, Starship, KBC band, Hot Tuna, and there you go, Bandsmutations. As we go outside a cafe anyway, we bring you Mike's Daily Podcast somewhere in Podcastro Valley.
And here's today's podcast picture.
And the podcast picture is of the town of Lynchburg, Tennessee, where you can go and check out the Jack Daniels distillery. No, you will not see Mila Kunis, who supposedly might be getting a divorce from Ashton Kutcher soon. But you won't see her walking around in her hot outfit making beer whiskey barrels magically appearing and flying in the air and computer graphics and all that. I see too many Jack Daniels commercials on TVs. But yes, that is Lynchburg, and there's this one little shop that was there in the town, and it had this statue of a guy playing chess. And I thought I'd put that picture on the website, MIKEs-DAILY-PODCAST.com. I visited the Jack Daniels distillery back in 2009. And we're outside here. Oh, look who we were running into.
Addendum with Kevin.
Country women are hot.
Yes.
Hey, it's Kevin, everybody.
How's it going?
Kevin, I have so many topics in my phone.
Oh, do we?
What's been going on with your drinking an energy drink that looks really powerful?
So I walked into the office area. There was a flat of energy drinks. It says NRB Organic Energy. Never seen it before in a store. Never heard of it. Never seen it anywhere else. So I decided, you know what? I should drink this. I should put this in my body. And here's the fun part. It was not exactly just sent to the secretary. It was sent to our quality assurance biochem guy.
Oh, so
I'm
that's suspect, huh?
Yeah, and I've decided that it would be intelligent for me to ingest this and see what happens, like a half-assed Jekyll and Hyde.
Your biochem guy is using you as a guinea pig. Watch out. Kevin, are you still alive? Oh, okay, maybe this stuff is...
Maybe he hooked up heart monitor. He's going to see what happened now.
Is it going to go into a beer, do you think?
I'm sure it isn't.
Oh.
I'm sure it's not. At least I really hope not. But it's pretty good. I don't know. It just tastes like red and bubbly.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you want some?
Thanks.
You want some?
Really?
Yeah, go.
All right. Okay.
Let's see what happens.
We're sharing the same hole. That
Do
didn't
you
sound
really
right.
have to phrase it like that?
Phrasing! Mike, phrasing! Oh, yeah, it definitely has berry components to it.
It smells of red. Red number 7.
Yeah, it tastes like an energy drink.
Yeah.
It's got that berry flavor. That would be good. What do the kids today put in that to just make it even more alcoholic? I mean,
vodka.
Okay.
Vodka Red Bull's pretty good.
I have never had that.
Really? It's an excellent drink.
Wow, I need to get me a young girlfriend and drink those all day.
Drink 7 of those and stay out till 4 a.m.
My social life has died, I want you to know, because last night I was going to go see Tyler Yarborough, who I've interviewed on the show. He's with a surf band called the Gnarly Men, and I've wanted to see them live. He was playing live at the Bistro in Hayward last night.
Yes.
And it was at 8 o'clock, right? And I'm like, I'm going to go to this. I'm going to go to this. I'm telling Haley at work, I'm going to go to this. And then around 6 o'clock yesterday, I'm like, I'm not going to that.
You chickened out.
I'm like so tired. I got to get up at 4 in the morning. I am not going to do this.
Yeah.
But tonight,
Okay.
see, this is how I get. I'm full of steam at 6:35 in the morning. I'm going tonight. I haven't been to the Super Bowl city yet. Near the Ferry Building in San Francisco. I need to go see that. And then tonight, it's One Republic. Baby, I kissed the Did you play that all the time at KKIQ when you were there?
Constantly. Constantly. It was on at least for 2 hours a day. If you add them all up, it was on constantly. Now, I heard that they're giving away 50 free tickets at noon today. And
but it's free, isn't it, to the public?
Isn't it? Okay. Well, I heard something like that they're giving away something. And Dave that we work with posted it on Facebook. Oh, we should all go. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, I'm going to be in the city on Saturday.
What are you going to do then that day?
I am lucky enough to go see the Cage the Elephant and Metallica show at AT&T.
Oh my God!
Yeah, I'm actually pretty excited about that. That's like bucket list stuff.
Oh, that's going to be insane.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I'm going to be right there. And remember, then we have the pub down the street, so I'm going to get a whole bunch of free beer and then go to the Super Bowl city and then down to AT&T.
That's right. You have the 21st Amendment also has a pub there. And
on 2nd Street.
What a fun day you're going to have.
I hope so. I took the day off. You know, I haven't not taken a Saturday off in like 7 months.
Damn.
Yep.
You're taking a Saturday...
I'm taking a Saturday off for this. This is how excited I am to go see this.
We'll be counting stars.
Now I'll do you a fade back. I'll do you a fade. 1017 KKIQ. Hey there, it's Kevin. It's 2:32 a.m. Can you believe I'm still here? All right. So if you're coming off of if you're coming down off of a binge of some sort and you're awake listening to this, give me a call. 1017 KKIQ, your hometown station. Now here's One Republic with Counting Stars on 1017 KKIQ, your hometown station.
He hit the post.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. I didn't forget, Jim. I still can do it.
Yeah, Jim. Jim listens to the show constantly.
Does he really? Does he?
No.
Okay.
I don't think he even reads my posts
I
on
don't think
Facebook.
he listens to KKIQ.
He's been there for a number of years.
He's been there since I've been in diapers.
So one thing, I was not a PD for a long time, but I did observe as being a PD for a year that you are obsessed with that station that year. You are so like, oh my God, what? You're tweaking every little thing. You're like constantly calling up the jocks. You didn't say this on that break, blah, blah, blah. You know.
Can I tell you? Oh, go ahead.
And I was annoying. Go ahead.
Can I tell you a funny little story?
Sure.
So there's a guy that I used to, when I went to, I guess I call it broadcasting school, but I went to a junior college that had a really good broadcasting program.
Ohlone.
Yes. And I had a brilliant...
Haley went to Ohlone.
Yes, he did. That's where I picked him up from. So I was like, okay, I need someone who knows what they're doing, so I got him from the program there. So education works, everybody, because you can just hire out of the college program.
See the connection between Kevin and Haley.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's not much. It's just that. I said, hey, I need a guy. They said, we'll send you Haley. Send him down. I'm not getting up at this hour. And now I am.
So that you can then work at a brewery later on.
Yes, exactly. Good thing I didn't take any biochem. Good job, everybody.
Win-win.
Yeah.
Even though you're drinking a biochem experience.
Yes, I know. I'm drinking this thing. It contains no natural ingredients.
This is completely designed in a lab.
Yeah, I don't know what yerba mate is, but I'm vaguely afraid of it. But it's organic.
I feel as if that's some coffee drink I had once was a yerba mate.
Yeah, some sort of hot drink, but I have no clue what it is.
Addendum with Kevin is fun. You learn things on this show. And, what were you saying about your community college
I'll just say
radio
it's
program?
a quick story, but my professor that year, if you want to call it that, he's still a big-time consultant in the radio deal, in the radio industry, and he now he runs like 6 stations out in Phoenix. And he told me about when he was a PD. When you work in radio, there's a lot of egos you have to watch out for. Real pain-in-the-ass types, and nothing makes someone have a bigger swollen head than success. When you got a station that's not doing very well and things are not exactly going great, and then this morning guy comes up and he lights up the whole area and he's getting ratings and things are going better and promotions are happening, that guy has a very likely tendency to get a big fat swollen head because all the business goes like, oh man, you totally saved our ass back there. And all the listeners like, oh my God, you're the coolest thing ever. So it kind of gets to your head. So he was having this big promotion in like 1994 or something like that. And he was giving away cell phones when they were like big, remember, and they were like, still a thing to have.
A brick.
That was a big deal to have. So, and he's doing this promotion. He's going to give away 1 cell phone every day. And he tells the morning jock guy, look, dude, we're going to have this great promotion. So he's like, I made a great liner for you. I want you to play the liner after the 4th song. And jock guy goes, yeah, whatever. Song 1, song 2, song 3, song 4. Song 4 comes on, jock goes, hey, I'm, cool Mr. D, and this is my show. And he goes, this is song number 5. He's like, what happened to my liner? So he calls him in. He's like, what happened to my liner? Yeah, your liner sucks, dude. He's like, look, I'm the PD, and I'm telling you, the PD is the supervisor, you could say, of all the on-air people. I'm not going to play your stupid thing, and blah, 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 blah. So he says, no, you're going to play it because I told you to. We need to promote this event. This is huge. All right, so next day comes. Play the liner after song 4. Song 1, 2, 3. Hey, it's Mr. D again. Song number 5. Doesn't play it again. He's like, we're losing time on this now. You know, we're not playing the liner. We're not getting the word out. We have to start the promotion on, let's just say, Monday. He goes into the general manager's office. He's like, I cannot get this stupid Mr. D jerk to play the liner I gave him. We're losing time on this. It's like, well... And the GM goes, well, throw something at him. Like, what do you mean? He's like, well, I said don't hit him. I said throw something at him. Let him know you mean business. So he's like, okay. So, sure enough, day like 5 comes. Song 1, song 2, song 3, song 4. DJ comes on once again, does not play the liner. All right, so he goes, Mr. D to my office, please. And cool DJ Mr. D comes moseying down with his shades on to the PD's office, and he goes, sit down. And he had this kind of mug that he didn't really drink out of. We get a ton of, like, corporate swag. Like, stuff you don't really care about. Someone who sells this little spring thing on the end of the microphone. They'll show up, hi, I'm from Springs, etc. Here, have some shirts, mugs, keychains,
Springs, etc.
Springs, etc. Here, have some hats. Stuff like that.
Yeah.
So he takes the cup. Like, why didn't you play the liner, Mr. D? He's like, yeah, your liner sucks. I told you I wasn't going to play it. He picks up the mug that he got from Springs, etc., and he, fastball pitches it. And he is about an inch away from his ear. Not only does he throw it, he makes a hole in the sheetrock behind him.
Oh, wow.
And he always told me, he's like, I'm not athletic. That's why I work in radio. I can't do difficult physical things. But that day, I just had this, Madison Bumgardner arm attached to me, and I whammed it right past his head, and I made a hole in the sheetrock. And the guy goes, okay, I'll go play your liner, dude, chill out. He runs back to the studio and plays the liner like he's supposed to. He's like, well, that's cool, but oh my god, I made this hole in the wall. What am I going to do? So he calls the GM, and he goes, dude, I threw the mug at him, but I made a hole in the wall. I'm really sorry. I'll pay for it. And the GM, you'd think he'd be upset. He made a hole in his wall.
Yeah.
He goes, oh my god, that's awesome. Like, what do you mean? He's like, next time he acts like a jerk, you come in and you say, you see that hole in that wall? Don't you forget it. So he left a hole in his sheetrock for the entirety of his career there.
Wow.
And when people would act up and get, you see that hole? Go ask Mr. D what happened.
And that's so funny. When you told me that story, I thought of that exact same thing happening in Santa Barbara when I was just starting out in radio, like in the late 80s. This morning guy, I attended a meeting with all the jocks, and we were supposed to be there for some big announcement, we're changing formats. Oh, I think that's what it was. We went more classic rock, because we were doing a Rock 40, where it was Guns N' Roses next to something kind of rock affiliated, like maybe not the Depeche Mode was affiliated to rock, but like we'd play Personal Jesus that had that kind of thing in it. Anyway, the morning guy comes in and yells at the PD, I did the stupid promo that you wanted me to do. And the PD takes his keys, and there's some sharp implements going on a key chain, and he chucks his keys at him, and it hits the wall right next to his head. And I'm right next to the morning show guy. The morning show guy turns to me and he goes, you're a witness. He just chucked those keys at me, and he leaves. And I was like, what the? This is radio?
Yeah.
I think I'll stay.
Yeah.
I'll stay for another. This is interesting.
This is fun.
Oh, that's fascinating.
I've heard of 2 engineers in San Jose beating each other up in the server room. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. My buddy who now lives in Michigan, some of that, he had 2 engineers. No, I'm sorry, you had the engineer and the tech guy. Engineer walks to the tech guy and kind of takes 2. If you take your middle finger and your pointer finger and you put them together, and you kind of go in the middle and you basically push hard in the middle of someone's chest. Hey, buddy. You better go reboot that machine back there. And the tech guy goes, don't ever touch me again. What do you think you're doing? He goes, you didn't hear me properly. and he takes his 2 fingers and it hits him again in the middle of the chest, and he slugged him like in the side of the head, and they get into a wrestling match right there on the floor in the engineering room. They both got sent home, and the next day they both got called in GM's office and said, not even more than 2 words. I don't want to hear anything. Pack your stuff and get out.
Wow.
Don't want to hear a word. Get out.
Both guys?
Both guys got the can right there.
Wow. Yeah. We need to act professionally in this business. Even though it is sort of a very right brain, right? It's very creative.
It's kind of I feel it's kind of a both. You have to have your marketing, you have to have your numbers correct on one side, but you have to be creative. It's like you're selling artwork, kind of, sort of.
Yeah. And we like when we deal with our computers and whatnot that make the stations play, we have to think sort of, okay, there's a bunch of rules in our heads.
Yep.
Like, you can't do this or you'll turn the whole station off, you know, basic tenets like that. Well, thank you, Kevin, for being on the show.
Thank you for having me.
A wonderful radio story.
Thank you.
Have fun in the city.
I will. And you too.
Enjoy Metallica and Cage the Elephant.
Yes.
That's my elephant noise.
Why are they like a Cajun Zydeco band?
It's a Cajun elephant. It's Dumbo with gumbo. Look what you started, Kevin.
That is brilliant.
Thanks.
That is brilliant.
I was going to start a whole song.
You can like serve like gumbo at Disneyland. You can have like your own stand, and you like pull on his ear and like a big beer tap, and gumbo comes out of his snout onto your bowl of rice, dirty rice.
Oh, that's
gumbo with Dumbo.
That's great.
Mon ami.
Thank you, Kevin. Next show, we'll bring you the return of the much-loved news segment where you will learn something interesting called the MIKELOPEDIA INSANICA. Plus, we'll hear from Benita, the Disgruntled Fiddle Player, and the Brewmaster.
Mike's Daily Podcast is written and produced and performed by Mike Matthews. His podcast is super easy to find. Download or listen to his show and read his blog at MIKES-DAILY-PODCAST.com. Email Mike now at MIKES-DAILY-PODCAST@gmail.com. See you tomorrow.